Everyone knows someone who works from home. Maybe you're working from home right now, but you're watching this video instead of answering that email. It's been 5 years since we had to mask up and work on our sourdough, and 20% of all office buildings in the US are still totally vacant. Studies also show that 91% of people prefer remote work, and the remaining 9% are total freaks. If we gave the people what they wanted and took away even more offices, we'd be left with a ton of vacancies, and some landlords would have to go without a second yacht. How sad. Of course, those office buildings won't just disappear, so we have to figure out what to do with them. In architecture, repurposing old buildings is called adaptive reuse, and it is an amazing model for sustainable development. It's pretty obvious. If the building is already there, then you don't need to build it from scratch. Sometimes urban sustainability is pretty straightforward. Though luckily not too straightforward, or I'd be down a YouTube channel. Adaptive reuse makes for architecturally interesting buildings too. Just look, in Denmark, they turned the Jægersborg Water Tower into apartments. In LA, they turned the historic Hollywood Western Building into apartments. In New York, they're turning the iconic Flatiron Building into apartments. Okay, we get it. People love their adaptive reuse apartments, and hey, if they're building affordable housing, we're all for it. But that's not always the case. So maybe between luxury condo projects, they could try something different. There are lots of creative ways to use urban space, and it's pretty incredible when the building's new purpose honors its history. Like Tai Kwun in Hong Kong, this Center for Heritage and Art was once Victoria Prison, the British colonial government's hub for policing and imprisonment. This complex is right in the middle of Hong Kong's commercial center, and it is huge. After its establishment in 1841, the prison expanded 3 times. But if history has taught us anything, people love building prisons. Prisons are apartments, and often apartments that feel like prisons, but never prisons that feel like apartments, well, except maybe in Norway. As the Victoria Prison became overcrowded, more and more officer barracks were built to maintain harsh control over the population. Eventually, they had a whole 300,000 square foot complex dedicated to policing. Even Ho Chi Minh was imprisoned here for 2 years, and it wasn't even for the whole communism thing, it's just because he pissed off the French. But what was once used to crack down on the locals is now used to elevate them. Since 2018, this complex has been home to exhibits and showcases promoting Hong Kong's rising artists and cultural legacy. What a way to turn a bad thing into a good thing. Would Ho Chi Minh love that the bourgeoisie are sipping lychee martinis in his old cell? Probably not. But he'd probably like it more than being in prison. The next stop on our adaptive reuse journey takes us from Hong Kong, past Vietnam, and over to Benjakitti Park in Bangkok. Ironically, this lush green area used to be the heart of the country's tobacco industry. In the mid-20th century, the Thailand tobacco monopoly acquired a whopping 235 acres of land in the very center of Bangkok. It was an industrial monster, churning out millions of cigarettes and polluting the heart of the city. But as smoking rates steadily declined, Thailand's tobacco industry was forced to downsize, and where their factories once stood, the land was reclaimed for public good. It's very poetic that a bunch of cigarette factories were converted into a public park, a black lung to a green lung, if you will. It's like turning a dungeon into Disneyland. This park is a prime example of multifunctional urban space. The concrete and debris from the demolition was used to create the park's slopes and pathways. Factory buildings were gutted and turned into sports facilities. And good news, they even have pickleball. And yes, pickleball is now so mainstream that it's played in Thailand. The Silicon Valley tech bros can feel right at home in Southeast Asia. In addition to these community spaces, architects designed the park to be a sponge city. Thailand is subject to wild swings of rainy and dry seasons. So the park collects water during Thailand's monsoons and slowly releases it during the country's dry season, hence the sponge. Bangkok is also home to the Klong system, a network of artificially made canals used for transport and sewage. For years, these waterways were notoriously dirty and smelly. Using them for transport was an exercise in blocking out your own senses. But not only does the park help control flooding, it also cleans the water with a robust ecosystem of native plant species. It is a very effective deodorizer, basically the Febreze of the city. While the city's waterways smell way less like sewage, they're still actually part of the sewage system, so I wouldn't recommend swimming in them unless you want to be patient zero of the next global pandemic. So if we're tallying the park's uses, we have 1, a beautiful public space, 2, flood prevention, and 3, water filtration, all created from repurposed materials and creative design thinking. Sure, they could have turned those cigarette factories into luxury apartments, and hey, they might have even been nice luxury apartments, but now they have a space that benefits everyone. There are so many ways we can repurpose infrastructure. Imagine the possibilities. We could turn office buildings into vertical gardens or community centers or a space for the arts, or really anything other than luxury apartments for a change. And you know what? I'd even accept more pickleball courts. If you like this video, the next episode of I Love the City is already available on Nebula. It's a streaming service perfect for remote and office workers alike, as long as you can hide your screen. And if you sign up right now at go.nebula.tv/ilovethecity, you can get 40% off an annual subscription. So while you might not be able to afford the latest historical building turned luxury apartment, you can probably afford Nebula.